Hi, Scarlett. This is a good start with your scales. Pay close attention to directions. Here, you should have 10 boxes in each scale. Also, follow the lead of the samples given. Here, I notice you've applied a gradient to the different boxes, and they actually should be one color throughout. Um, let's see, with tints, you want to end in white. And the scale you have labeled as tones is actually a gradation of hue, which leads us into the gradation of hue for assignment 4. I don't see a strong example here of one color shifting to the next and also a fully saturated colors. Now, your gradation of value looks pretty good. Once again, follow the lead of the samples. You won't see gradients in any of the samples given. Your gradation of saturation turns out to have a very constant value. Hi, Jessica. I can see other concepts here. The leftmost boxes in all three scales, why they match exactly. That shows a great deal of control. With tints, you want to end in white. And remember, the directions are asking you for 10 boxes per scale. Now, white is 255, 255, 255. Those are the RGB values, or the red, green, and blue values that you'll see toward the bottom right in the color picker. You can actually type those numbers in. With shades, you want to end in black, and you've got something that looks black, but it's not exactly black. The RGB values there ought to be 0, 0, 0. In tones, you need a gray at the end that's entirely neutral, and in that case, all three values, R, G, and B, will be the same. Hi, Ashley. Nice job on your scales. Let's look at tints. With tints, you want to add more and more white and end in a pure white, which will be 255, 255, and 255 for the R, G, and B values. Those red, green, and blue values can be found in the bottom right of the color picker, and you can actually type in the numbers that you want. Likewise, with tones, the last block should be a perfect neutral, and the RGB values should all be the same there. Now, gradation of hue, this is lovely. What a nice idea. It's actually as though you have a number of different gradations of hue in the same composition. The gradation is a gradual transition, of course. With your gradation of value, I feel as though I'm looking through night vision goggles. It's really a lovely, simple design. And gradation of saturation is very subtle, but it does meet the directions. Shauna, your scales look good. I can see the blocks at left all match exactly. On right, with tints, you want to end in white. So RGB values should all be 255. End in a perfect black at the end of shades, and all your values for red, green, and blue should be 0. For tones, to end in a perfect neutral, all of those values should be the same. R, G, and B should be the same, and you can type those numbers into the bottom right corner of the color picker. Now, in tones, I think that your value is not as constant as it might be. Gradation of hue looks great, and I noticed that you took the challenge and made this a more interesting piece. Congratulations. Gradation of value is correct. With gradation of saturation, there's a subtle shift in value. Like tones, this is a hard one to manage. Hi, Tricia. Looking at your scales, I can see that all three leftmost boxes match exactly, and your white and black look okay. At the end of tones, you should have a perfect gray. All three values, red, green, and blue, in the lower right corner of the color picker should match. And remember, you can type those numbers in. In tones, I'm seeing a shift in hue. Remember, for this exercise, we wanted to try to keep hue constant. So notice how it turns from green to cyan. Let's see. Now, with the bottom right example, that must be your gradation of value, which is quite good. I like the addition of the shadow. Remember, for perfect circles, depress shift and release it last. Also, we'll take a look at what I think is intended to be your gradation of saturation. Now, in this case, you haven't kept hue constant, which was one of the assignment requirements. So it's not a perfect example. However, I will admit that you've got value constant here. Hi Amisha, this is a really good job with your scales. I can see the leftmost boxes are all just the same. And you do have a perfect black in shades. With tints, you want to end in white, and the RGB values in the color picker will all be 255. With tones, those RGB values should all be the same. That way you'll have a perfect neutral there for your last block, a true gray.